just like to get your opinion on gas versus electric ovens,
Mhm.
and if you tend to seek more callouts for one or the other, or if one, what would you personally prefer to have if you're choosing between the two?
If you're wanting something, especially maybe you have a lot of rental units and you want something that's going to be low maintenance and it's really not going to break a lot, gas is a really good choice. How they make the gas oven with the igniter and where the flame comes out, that whole process really hasn't changed in 30 years. So when you have components like that, there's a reason they haven't changed, because they'll definitely withstand the test of time. So those are really good. Now, with electric ovens, you have a heating element. With a gas oven, you have some type of igniter, and there's a few different kinds. The most common type of igniter is it's almost like a mini heating element. In gas ovens, that is the most common failure, but again, it is a cheap and easy repair to do, especially if you could find a video to know exactly where the screws come off. An experienced technician on most ovens could change an igniter in and out maybe 15 minutes. But yeah, they're definitely usually more low cost, low maintenance. Now, as far as like cooking preference, if you're one who really does a lot of baking and a lot of cooking, gas ovens are a little more volatile in their temperature fluctuation. So any oven, let's say you set it at 350, what it's going to do is once it reaches the target temperature, it's going to cut off power to the heating source, whether it's element or whether it's gas. Once that temperature falls below the set amount, so if you've got it set it at 350, usually once it hits about 330 or so, 330 to 340, it's going to turn that heat source back on. It's going to heat up, and so it's always cycling. With gas ovens, that cycle is a little more extreme. Obviously, you have fire, which is very hot. And
Mm.
so, if you have an instant read thermometer in there, you'll notice it jump upwards of 450 degrees until it heats up the interior to 350 and then comes back down. They're still pretty good. It's not like they're going to burn your food every time. Obviously, the technology's been out there for a while, but most bakers and cooks definitely prefer an electric oven but a gas cooktop. Those are dual fuel units, which are fantastic. They're great. I want one myself, but you can't really touch a dual fuel except if you're looking at spending over $2,000 or somewhere in the ballpark, like 2 to 4,000. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, just to touch on the temperature fluctuations, it's something that I didn't know, and I was really surprised to find out. Just that if you set a temperature on your thermostat, it's not perfectly lining it up with the element and stuff. It's just getting there, turning off, on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And same with microwaves and everything like that.
Yeah,
A
and
lot of people
dryers.
don't
Yeah.
know. Ah, yeah, yeah. I remember having a flatmate a few years ago and she was just fantastic at baking, but we had a gas oven,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, how are you doing that? Because
Yeah.
it's so tricky.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Mm.
it's a skill that you develop over time for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So gas generally easier, lower maintenance, don't need to worry so
Mhm.
much. But if you want your regular cake baker or something like that, electric generally the better.
Oh yeah.
More modern features on them, I think typically as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And most electric ovens, especially in their like the mid to high range, usually do have a convection option, which I know a lot of people who cook a lot like to use because it's more even cooking. And most mid to high end ovens also have a hidden bake element, which allows even more so a more kind of calm, less variance in temperature fluctuation because the heating
Right.
is a lot slower, and the more expensive, the better it's made, the better it's insulated. You have a lot less temperature loss, and so you're definitely staying at your target temperature for a lot longer.